No, I don't think so. Because it's not even just because we don't want to see lesbian toys kiss. It's because it's
They're not toys, you dumb f***. How do you not even have a general understanding of what the movie's about? They're not toys! Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, they make me a little nervous, you know? They're really weak men. And I feel like weak men lead to hard times. And I feel like these weak betas who get triggered over a quick, brief kiss scene, they're just going to lead to the collapse of Western civilization. Pixar has done it again. You remember in our childhood, when every new Pixar movie that came out, you were just thinking, man, that was a good movie. Minus Cars 2, okay? We ignore that one. Man, that was a good movie. Man, Pixar did it again! Yes! Every fucking time a new Pixar movie comes out, you're just impressed. We got Finding Nemo. We got Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, A Bug's Life, The Incredibles. Pixar is still managing to do it again. But you might be wondering, well, what is it that they are consistently doing? Not necessarily making quality films. They've had a lot of films now that are less than stellar, if I'm being honest. But what they've managed to consistently do now is trigger the snowflake conservatives. You might remember the movie Soul, which I thought was actually a pretty good one for new Pixar. That managed to trigger a bunch of religious fanatics. Then we had Turning Red, which also managed to trigger a bunch of religious conservative fanatics. And now we have a brand new Pixar movie that just dropped called Lightyear that has successfully once again triggered the snowflake fanatic conservatives. It is lovely. It's beautiful. It's like maybe their quality now is like up, down, up, down, up, down, but you can always count on Pixar to be consistent when it comes to triggering the most sensitive little babies amongst our society. Now, I'll be honest, I've not yet seen Lightyear. Usually I end up watching new Pixar movies on Disney+. I don't really want to go to the theater to see Lightyear, but what I've heard is that it's not actually that good of a movie. A lot of people said that it wasn't very good, that it started out good and then ended up becoming really boring or just didn't really make sense, or it just wasn't like hitting home, you know? The new movie Lightyear came out, and what that movie is about generally is the origin story of Buzz Lightyear. So it's supposed to be before Toy Story, there was some kind of a movie called Lightyear about a guy named Buzz Lightyear, and it became a massive success, so then they started making toys of Buzz Lightyear, which then, leads into the Toy Story universe. That's pretty much the Lightyear stuff, okay? That's all I know about the movie. I'll give you a basic rundown as to why conservatives are mad as fuck about this movie again, and then we will get into the actual conservative reactions. So first, we had, wait for it, it's very scary, a lesbian kiss. Oh no. Please no, God. God, no. Why have you forsaken us? As we know, Disney films never depict romance in their movies. Huh, no. I've never watched a Disney movie that had any bit of romance in it. None. None whatsoever, okay? Sure, there was Beauty and the Beast, where the woman literally fell in love with like a creature animal and kind of bestiality undertones, but that's fine because it was a man and a woman. I don't think about that as being sexual. And then of course you have Sleeping Beauty, where the guy kissed a girl without her consent while she was in a coma. He just kind of like found a girl laying there who appeared to be dead and then just like decided to lay one on her. That was a little weird, I guess, but I didn't really think twice about that one. Who cares? It was a man and a woman, it was natural. It was God's holy design. But now we have two women briefly kissing in a Disney film. This is sexual. This is disgusting. This is propaganda. This is something that I cannot fathom. This is something that if even a child hears of, they will quite possibly melt like the witch in Wizard of Oz. Now, of course, it should be a bit of a red flag when conservatives instantly see gay kissing and they think that that's sexual, but they don't think that a man and a woman kissing is sexual. kind of gives you a little insight into where their minds are, you know, get your minds out of the gutter. But the other reason that conservatives are mad is because Tim Allen was not the guy who voiced Buzz Lightyear. Now, at first glance, you might be kind of bummed about that, because I too was like, wait, what? Why wouldn't they have Tim Allen voicing Buzz Lightyear, bruh? But then when they actually explained it, it made sense, right? This is a movie about the actual man named Buzz Lightyear. So of course the toy Buzz Lightyear is probably not going to have the same voice as the guy in the movie. The conservatives, they're claiming that Tim Allen was kicked to the curb by Pixar because he was a conservative. Oh no, because he was conservative. They just didn't want to work with him, guys, because he was a conservative. Remember, whatever conservatives can do to play the victims, act like the little snowflake beta bitches that they are, they will do. They will do that. And once again, they're using this to play victim. But I don't want to spoil it all, okay? We first have to start with talking about the insane reaction from these conserva cucks all over the fucking country. We have something that happened in Oklahoma. That's the first red flag, okay? Anytime you got some shit happening in Oklahoma, you know this is about to get good, all right? Now, thankfully, this has now been reversed, most likely after the ridiculous amount of backlash that they got, rightfully so. Oklahoma movie theater reverses course after posting a sign warning viewers of scene in Lightyear. So there was a movie theater in Kingfisher, and they did, before walking back, have a sign that was posted about Pixar's new film, Lightyear. Many people posted about the sign online, reading that the 89er theater would fast forward through a scene showing a female character kissing her same-sex partner. These bitches were trying to fast forward in the theater. You can't do that. And if you can, why do you never fast forward the trailers? Unironically, snowflakery to the highest degree. Remember how many times we had the like cringy blue-haired SJWs that were like, I'm offended by this, I'm offended by that. And what was the conservative response? Well, then just leave. Then don't look at it. Now all of a sudden we have something that the conservatives are really triggered by. And instead of just leaving or just going somewhere else or maybe just closing their eyes, this theater was going to fast forward through that scene. The movie theater's owner eventually said that they would show Lightyear uninterrupted, saying they took the sign down and they would never fast forward through any part of the movie. So thankfully, they did away with that. But still, the fact that they were even going to try to do it originally is insane to me. Could you imagine, like, you didn't see the sign, you're sitting there with your popcorn, and they're like, dun 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 dun. You're like, yo, what the, who's sitting on the remote? I'm in the theater to avoid this kind of shit. What's next? The DVD starts skipping and freezing? Jill Stolver, a woman who took her two sons to see the Buzz Lightyear standalone movie, said she had no problem with the scene. Watching it was no big deal. It was like 2 seconds. Maybe 1 second if you were really paying attention. Really? That's it? Bruh. That's it. Are you serious? Bitch, please. That's it. That's the part. Right there. Don't look away, children. Don't look. Don't even think about it. All right? Purify your mind. Get the holy water. Sprinkle it everywhere. I can't imagine getting triggered by that. You could be looking down at, like, I don't know, the, like, popcorn you dropped. And you look up and it's over. Jesus, bro. This is actually, like, insane. The sensitivity. That's it. Okay, well, now we've actually seen the kiss scene that apparently is triggering conservatives everywhere. Now that we've reviewed this Oklahoma theater, which tried to fast forward through that part, which honestly, by the time you look down to like click the fast forward button, it'd be over. But yeah, apparently that's what's triggering conservatives everywhere. And it wasn't just the Oklahoma reactionaries who had a big problem with this. It was also our favorite troglodytes, Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh. Now, of course, both Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh have built a career around whining, complaining, and bitching about virtually every single thing they possibly can. And I'm going to be honest, Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, they make me a little nervous, you know? They're really weak men. And I feel like weak men lead to hard times. And I feel like these weak betas who get triggered over a quick, brief kiss scene, they're just going to lead to the collapse of Western civilization. So let's start with the first weak man who is leading to the collapse of Western civilization, Michael Knowles, or as I like to call him, Michael Knowless. It's a little bit more of a fitting name. Take it away, Michael. Let us know why Lightyear flopped.
Do you know part of the reason why we can't game out Putin, or we can't game out Xi Jinping, or we can't act like responsible, serious people on the world stage? Because we can't even figure out what a woman is, and we can't figure out what a man is, and we're
What does any of this have to do with the movie Lightyear or a lesbian kiss? Are you going to get to the point, or are you using half of your time here to just like rant about some other bullshit? Also, what do you mean we can't compete with China? I'm pretty sure we're like the #1 largest world superpower, right? Right? Isn't America like the #1 largest superpower? After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, the United States was then the world's sole remaining superpower. So how are we not able to compete with those people? I don't even know what to do with this. None of this has to do with anything, or none of this has anything to do with the movie. So can you get to the point, please, Michael?
wasting all of our time debating these stupid things that even a 5-year-old knows.
Wait, didn't your little homie, Matt Walsh, make an entire documentary debating what is a woman? So then you're technically blaming your butt buddy for our failures compared to the glorious fascistic Russia. Huh. A little bit of a diss there at Matt Walsh.
We no longer know. The genius adults running our country no longer know. This is one of the reasons that we need settled norms. There are many good things about having settled norms. One of them is that we don't waste our time.
What do you mean settled norms? The discussion around what is a woman is a complex discussion because the way in which we go about identifying women varies. It's different depending on what culture you're in. The role that you're assigned, if you are first labeled a woman, varies throughout history and throughout time. We've never had like a standard or static norm in regards to what a woman is or what that role looks like or what women should appear as presentation-wise. So being willing to have like complex conversations is not a bad thing, but it might be for two reasons. One, Michael Knowles is a brainless loser. So perhaps because he's like a huge fucking dipshit, he doesn't like complex discussions because as he just said, he would prefer everything be watered down so simple that a 5-year-old can understand it. Sorry, Michael. The world doesn't work like that. Turns out there are people that know more than 5-year-olds, and sometimes it's worth looking into the reason why. Second of all, I get the feeling from Michael Knowles that he has like certain fascistic tendencies, and I know I'm going to get heat for that, but one of the tenets of fascism is the rejection of knowledge. Just don't think. No critical thinking. Fascists or people that lean fascist hate critical thinking because what they want is dogma. It's easier to control people with dogma. If everybody's thinking critically and examining certain things and deeply contemplating about certain issues, it's harder for control. It's harder for the fascistic, or for the fascists, I guess, to gain control. It's harder for Michael Knowles to sway people. So that's just my guess, though. You know, maybe perhaps it's just that he's fucking retarded, and that's it. It might be that simple, and that honestly is simple enough that a 5-year-old could understand it. So I guess we'll just go with that one, Michael.
A society that doesn't know what a man is and what a woman is cannot advance to more complicated questions. It's sort of like in school. You've got to learn 2 + 2 = 4 before you can start looking at trigonometry.
Did you ever think that maybe, just maybe, what is a woman is a complex conversation to have?
Or more advanced algebra or calculus. You can't do those things until you figure out the basics. If you're constantly stuck at the basics of statecraft, of the relationship of the individual to the state and to each other, you're not going to be able to advance to more complex questions. And then what's going to happen? Your enemies are going to eat your lunch.
Okay, I genuinely don't know what he's saying here. Is this an advertisement for Subway? Who's eating my lunch? Can you get to the point on why Lightyear flopped? Please, Grandma. I didn't ask for a fucking monologue.
These questions of norms are largely why the movie Lightyear just flopped at the box office over the week.
Okay. I like how he's like, we have to focus on more complex issues, okay, or else the enemies, the Chinas and the Russias are going to overtake us. So anyway, everybody, here's why you should be seething mad about an animated kids movie.
Weekend, which, not to say I told you so, but I did predict that would happen. The Lightyear movie is the latest Toy Story movie. It's a prequel, and unlike the earlier Toy Story movies, which generally are good, certainly the first one is terrific. I think number 2 is good too. I don't think I saw number 3.
So he's already wrong? It just shows the amount of research these cucks do before getting on camera and starting to bitch. Like, you realize that it's not part of the Toy Story universe, right? This is not like a Toy Story 5. This is not anything to do with Toy Story.
Was there a 4th? There might have been a 4th. But they've been good movies. And then this one, they fire Tim Allen, who's the voice of Buzz Lightyear, and they fire him because he's a conservative. It's the only reason that makes sense. They didn't fire him because he was too expensive. They hired a more expensive actor to do it, Chris Evans.
Okay, they didn't fire Tim Allen. Again, dishonest framing. He's either an ignorant douchebag or he actually is just purposely being dishonest. Either way, Tim Allen was not fired. Yeah, but now he's trying to play victim and say it's because he was conservative. Very cute, Michael. I get it. You gotta play victim, all right? I understand being a snowflake is very difficult. Why don't we go ahead and read the real reason why Chris Evans replaced Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Let's see. Chris Evans took on the role of Buzz Lightyear, a longtime Toy Story fans finally get a glimpse into the backstory of the superhero and how he became so well loved. Okay, where's the actor Tim Allen? After all, the Last Man Standing actor has quite a long history with Disney. So in October 2021, director Angus MacLane called the film a sidequel to the hit franchise. He further told Yahoo Entertainment that the film is meant to be a sci-fi adventure movie starring Buzz Lightyear the character. And while he did have an explanation for why the home improvement star wasn't involved, fans were definitely not satisfied with his answer. I assumed that the toy, voiced by Tim Allen, is based on either the cartoon series that was made after the movie or a later movie, he continued. So the events that Buzz is talking about in Toy Story have not yet happened. So this would be the origin story of who we know Buzz Lightyear to be. Okay, so that is actually why they did not have Tim Allen doing the voice for Buzz Lightyear. Had nothing to do with him being conservative. In fact, even more so, Chris Evans, he announced that he would be stepping into Tim's shoes, and he acknowledged just how special Tim was to putting the character on the map. He literally credited Tim Allen. He said he drew inspiration from Tim Allen. He said he was kind of nervous because Tim Allen delivered the line so iconically, and he wanted to live up to that expectation. There was nothing but immense respect for Tim Allen.
But Chris Evans is a huge lib, and Tim Allen is an outspoken conservative. So they fire Tim Allen, and then they insist on...
Again, going to keep correcting this, even if I've already said it, okay? They did not fire Tim Allen. He was never a part of the project.
Inserting a lesbian kiss scene. They insist, and it had initially been cut, but then the gay organization of Disney employees got very upset that it was cut. And so for Pride Month, and to spite Governor Ron DeSantis, they reinserted a lesbian kiss scene.
Cool. Nice. That's great. I'm really glad there are people working at Disney that are willing to speak up when they feel that it's important to have representation of an already marginalized group. Yeah. Based Disney employees. Cool. I like how he's just saying shit. He's not actually, he does this every time, okay? Michael Numskull does this literally all the time where he just says things, doesn't explain why it's bad. He just says, look guys, gay, and then just expects his drunk boomer audience of conservatives to just like seep it right up. Yeah, good point. Can you make an argument, Michael? Is it possible for you?
And then a bunch of conservative parents and normal parents and centrist parents and center-left parents even said, no, I don't think so. Because it's not even just because we don't want to see lesbian toys kiss. It's because
they're not toys, you dumb fuck. How do you not even have a general understanding of what the movie's about? They're not toys. Okay.
Toy Story. It's because Whatever this thing is, I know it looks like Toy Story. It's got the same characters and the same colors and the
No,
same
it
animation,
doesn't.
but it's not Toy Story. Now
It's not It's not even supposed to be Toy Story. Holy shit. Oh my god. Didn't he at least watch the trailer? I don't even think he watched the trailer. What's his next critique? I didn't see Woody anywhere. Bruh. You don't have to see the movie to know the general, like to have a general understanding of what the movie's about. This is like if I got up here and was like, hey guys, so according to facts and logic, this is why Lightyear flopped. They said that this was going to be a real movie with real actors, and now all of a sudden it's animated. What the fuck is up with that? I paid to see a movie with real people acting, not to see a CGI film. Like, do you have any understanding of what you're talking about?
It's the left using Toy Story, which is a nice, wholesome, normal story, to push its own woke ideology.
One, who cares if what is normal and what isn't? You realize that part of the reason Toy Story was so successful is because it wasn't normal. It defied what was the norm at the time in regards to filmmaking. So I'm not sure why you would appeal to what is normal as what is then good or what is acceptable. Like, at one point, slavery was normal. That doesn't mean it's good. At one point, people like you, Michael, would have been deported. I'll leave that one up for interpretation if that's good or not. But seriously, this idea that, oh, it's normal, therefore good, is one of the weakest, laziest, most brain-dead arguments I've probably ever heard in my life. And that's how you know this guy is just a massive chuckle fuck who's just reading his script given to him from some no-name, anonymous oil billionaire. Second of all, it's not woke to feature a kiss scene. That's not woke, Michael. That's not woke. Did you see the scene? Did you actually watch the part where they kiss? Because we did, and it was like 5 milliseconds. All right? Like, that scene was shorter than your dick, Michael. And you're over here reeing that somehow this is the woke ideology infiltrating our wholesome family films. Oh, man. This is what it means, by the way, to have, like, blissful ignorance. Shit. Sometimes doesn't it just look nice? It looks nice to just live in blissful ignorance.
Box office estimates dropped 35% in one day. Early Friday morning, heading into the weekend, the estimated box office was $85 million domestic. Then, by the end of the day, the estimates had dropped down to $55 million. The actual close was $51 million.
Okay, yeah, we know it didn't really do very well at the box office. We understand that, Michael. We know. The problem is that you're giving dipshit reasons. Yeah, everybody, guys, across the country was just so mad that Tim Allen wasn't voicing the Buzz Lightyear guy, and it was probably because he was conservative, so they all decided to stay home. Or they all were mad that there was a brief kiss scene that you would miss if you literally blinked your eyes. They were just so mad about it. No, the truth is it came out the same weekend that Jurassic Park came out. Jurassic Park is a massive franchise, has a lot of hype around it. We also usually now see Pixar movies being released on Disney+, so I think you probably have a good chunk of people that are subscribed to Disney+, as I am, who are just waiting for it to come to Disney+, rather than paying more money to go see a movie that they're not really sure is going to be good or not in the theater. Which explanation here seems more reasonable? Just think about that.
Estimates for the global box office was $135 million, then dropped down to $85.6 million. Way down. Wasn't even the biggest movie of the weekend. So much money went into this movie. So much hype went into this movie. Didn't even clear the biggest movie of the weekend. The biggest movie of the weekend was the new Jurassic Park movie, which did not open this past weekend. It opened the weekend previously. So the second weekend for Jurassic...
Is that true? Oh, did I get that wrong? Oh, you know what? I did get that wrong. It wasn't the same weekend. Okay, sorry, my bad. I hate needing to admit that Michael Knowles is right, but in this case, since it has nothing to do with politics, fine, Michael. You get the win here, okay, pal?
Jurassic Park was better than the first weekend for the new Toy Story movie. Why? It's obviously just because of this fight over norms and over the gay kiss and the liberal actor playing Buzz Lightyear. And it's because the left has misunderstood America's...
Really? I'm sorry, Michael. Not everybody in the country is as homophobic and as stupid and as terminally online as you are. I hate to break it to you, homeboy. Some people think that it's actually quite acceptable to be gay. Did you know that? I know it's a shocker, right? But not everybody is this terminally online, Michael. It's quite possible that people simply had other priorities or wanted to wait for it to come out on Disney+. Again, the explanations that I'm giving are far more reasonable and likely than people mad because gay people, even though literally over 50% of the country supports gay people, so not sure how that works.
Penchant for tolerance. Americans are very tolerant, but we do not want to normalize much of the stuff that we tolerate.
Yes, we...
There's a difference.
Wait, yes, we do. It depends what you're talking about. We want to normalize gay people. Abso-fucking-lutely. Sorry. If gay people are if you're tolerating gay people, we want to normalize gay people. I don't want it to have to be an issue of should I tolerate these people or not. I want it to just be a fact of the matter that gay people exist and you don't give two shits about it.
Toleration and normalization. And the libs are banking on American tolerance in their campaign to normalize all sorts of behaviors. But we don't want to normalize that stuff. Americans like our norms. Americans are happy to tolerate.
This is such a dipshit analysis. Part of the reason America in and of itself is such a successful world superpower is because, again, we defied the norm. The norm at the time was you had a big church that was very intertwined with government and you had to go to the Church of England, and if you didn't, you were in trouble. That was the norm, and people came to America to defy that norm. America's Constitution and the principles that America was built on was not the norm, Michael. America is unironically built upon defying the norm. And now he's over here saying, Americans just want things to be normal. What is normal? In what way? How do you what's normal? Like, 50 years ago, it wasn't normal for women to wear pants. I don't see you up here bitching about women wearing pants. It's almost as if at one point that wasn't normal, then it became more normalized via tolerance, and now it is just a fact of the matter no one thinks twice about. I don't know what else to say. Like, this guy is just, he's off his rocker, and there's not enough insults I can throw at him to properly describe how absolutely brain dead and retarded this fucking loser actually is. I can't do it. Like, I'll either violate TOS or just be at a loss for words. There is no word I can think of to accurately describe this piece of shit demagogue.
Tolerate people, especially on the sex issues, people's eccentric sexual desires and behaviors. Everybody's got a gay cousin or something, and no one really cares, right? We all just sort of tolerate it. It's fine, okay? It's not a big deal.
No one really cares, says the guy up here making a 10-minute video crying because there was a literal millisecond gay kiss in a movie, but okay.
But we don't want the LGBT ideology being taught to our kids in public schools.
What is the ideology? They're doing it. I can't believe it. They're actually doing it now. Remember for a while it was like woke to have the blue-haired, mega feminist, in-your-face kind of thing. That was woke. Now what's woke to these people? Explaining to children that gay people are real, or featuring a black person on screen. This is what they're now considering to be woke. It's like they're just letting the mask slip off, and now they're revealing themselves to be nothing but irrational bigots who just dislike progress. They dislike progress for the sake of disliking progress. That's it. It's new. It's changing. I don't like that it's changing things. Therefore, it's bad. These people are some of the most brain-dead chuckle fucks around because Michael Knowles is unironically just trying to conserve whatever norm he happened to be born into. If this dipshit was born 100 years ago, he would be pushing against desegregation. He would be pushing against freeing the slaves. He would be against those things because the norm he was born into then was, well, we have slaves. What's the big deal? Segregation. Yeah, I want to keep my little white safe space, okay? That's what I like. That's the norm. That is the logic that he is applying here. It's just, if it's new, if it's progress, therefore it's bad. It's one of the weakest and most beta approaches that you can possibly, conjure.
in libraries, in the movies. We don't want that. We're happy to tolerate. We'll tolerate the drag queen at the bar in Greenwich Village. We'll tolerate that exists. We don't really care. We will not allow that behavior to be normalized. We'll tolerate transgenderism.
Why are you're like lumping all of this in? I don't think that you need to like sit your kid down and be like, okay, Billy, this is what a drag queen is. That's like a profession. That's like a career that people do. That's different from people whose identity and self-perception differs from what we usually associate said identity with biological makeup. Like, these are different things. We'll tolerate transgenderism.
Normalized. We'll tolerate transgenderism in the sense that if there's a mentally ill man who thinks that he's a woman,
wow,
we're not going to go out of our way to get in his face and say, no, you're actually a man.
Wait, that's what you chuckle fucks do all the time. You work with the Daily Wire. Your whole thing is men cannot be women. Weren't you just on a tour? Or was it Ben Shapiro that just went on a tour where they said men cannot be women? You are in everybody's face with this, dude. You have literal trans people and gay people that just simply want to fucking exist, and then you numbskulls jump up, wetting your panties in the process, and start screaming, "Man can't be women!" Why? Because it was the norm in which I was born into. I don't even understand what the fuck your point is, dude. But I like how we went from criticizing the movie Lightyear to just like blatant transphobia. Again, disregarding the medical literature, which clearly shows that trans people are valid and that seeking gender-affirming care and receiving gender-affirming care benefits the trans person's well-being. Not to mention, misgendering them, refusing to acknowledge their identity and their internal perception, does immense harm to their mental well-being. So again, you're not interested in helping anybody. You're not interested in the truth. You're not even interested in the facts, okay? You're interested in getting your fat paycheck by spreading blatant lies.
We're not going to do it. You remember Ben Shapiro went viral some years ago because he was on TV and this transgender dude was just getting all up in his face and yelling at him. And Ben said, well, what are your genetic characteristics, sir? Right? And he was being provocative because it was a TV show, but he actually wasn't the one provoking the situation.
Wait, I know what clip you're talking about. Isn't that where the trans person said you'll get sent home in an ambulance or something? Yeah, that was probably a bad response from that trans person. But guess what, Michael? This is something so simple a 5-year-old can understand, okay? So you should really be able to wrap your mind around This is something so simple that a 5-year-old can understand, so you should be able to wrap your mind around this one, okay, Michael? You ready? 2 wrongs don't make a right. The trans person shouldn't have threatened Ben Shapiro like that. That was fucked. But guess what? Shapiro shouldn't have been misgendering and blatantly, explicitly refusing to acknowledge someone's identity just because Shapiro is a dishonest political hack who hasn't taken the time to actually understand the complex nature of LGBT issues.
Isn't an example of Ben being intolerant. I'm sure that if Ben has said this himself, if he were at a dinner party and some dude in a dress asked to be called she, he would oblige in the moment in the dinner party. But
wow.
What is being asked by
that is so noble. Can we get a clap here, please? That is just lovely. That is so nice. Wow. You know what? Maybe I misjudged. I think that Ben Shapiro actually is pretty smart. I'm sorry. Wow, Michael, you've just changed my opinion completely on Shapiro.
The TV debates over transgenderism and the transgender ideology in classrooms and libraries and movies is not toleration, it's normalization. It's not just, hey, will you, in your charity, in your grace, in your politeness, indulge some delusions of people?
1, it's not a delusion. 2, yeah, that's not what tolerance is. We don't say, can you just be polite and pretend that you accept these people, please? How do you think that would have worked out back with, like, getting rid of slavery? Right? What happened when the South was asked to just politely tolerate freed slaves? I feel like it led to something. What was it again? Oh yeah, the fucking Civil War. I'm sorry, numbskull. Michael no less. Tolerance is not, well, I'll just politely validate your delusion. Snicker, snicker. No, it's actually having a genuine understanding of the issue at hand and making a very real attempt to be accommodating. This... We'll just be polite, okay, for the time being. Yeah, when I'm around black people, I'll politely recognize them as humans and equal to white people, okay? But I will politely give in to the delusion. I wonder how that one would hold up.
At a dinner party? Will you tolerate this strange behavior? It is the demand that we actually lie and we actually pretend that it is normal for a man to think that he's a woman and that the man...
You don't need to act as if it's normal. It's not normal, at least based on like statistics and standard deviations. It's still a rarity. Trans people are definitely in the minority. But again, normalcy has nothing to do with whether or not we accept that thing. Do you know how normal it is to have like red hair or blue eyes or be a millionaire? None of those things are actually normal based on the way in which we calculate if something is or is not normal. You recognize that, right, Knowles? Are you just being politely accommodating to the people with red hair? No, you have an arbitrary standard which you apply baselessly to trans people because you're a dipshit. You don't like trans people. That's what this is built with. That's what your argument, that's the foundation of your argument. It is, I don't like trans people, so how can I jump through all these mental hoops to justify my dislike, my irrational fifis, which tell me that trans people are gross?
Man actually is a woman. We're not going to do that, okay? And I'm not just speaking for the right-wing conservatives here. America is just not going to do that, and that's why the Buzz Lightyear movie is not...
Get over it, pal. America's already doing it. Go look up acceptance of gay people in America. It's going up, pal, in despite of chuckle fucks like you. And guess what, Knowles? One of these days, okay, you and all your little homeboys are going to bite the fucking dust, and this next generation is going to be left up to people like me and others who are actually going to push for a more progressive society because we actually care about the facts. You care about propping up your bigotry so that you can continue living a life that is normal for your own comfort. That's what you care about. But one day, hopefully one day soon, you are going to be dead and gone. And then this generation is going to be left up to people like me, to people that watch this stream. This is going to be the next generation. We're going to be the ones that push forward progress and society. And you know what? 10, 20, 50 years after you bite the fucking dust, trans people will become normal. And even if it's not normal statistically, it will be seen as nothing unusual, in despite of people like you.
Making a lot of money, and it's why there's a parents' movement in Virginia, in Florida, all around the country. And the Democrats are shocked by this. They're shocked because they overplayed their hand, and yet the libs keep pushing this. Joe Biden, in a Pride Month remarks, just came out, and he said, the ultra MAGA people now, we're the weird ones, because we're going after Mickey Mouse, because we don't want LGBT propaganda in the Disney movies.
It's not LGBT propaganda. What is he even talking about in Mickey Mouse?
No one knows better than the people in this room. We have a lot more work to do. A lot more work to do. I don't have to tell you about the ultra-MAGA agenda attacking families and our freedoms. 300 discriminatory bills introduced in states across this country. In Texas, knocking on front doors to harass and investigate parents who are raising transgender children. In Florida, going after Mickey Mouse, for God's sake. That strike close to home. No, but think about this. All of you in this room know better than anyone that these attacks are real and consequential for real families.
Ha ha ha.
Damn, based Biden. Wow. Every now and then Biden just he just spits some flame, you know? Every now and then you get a Biden quote that is just fire. And I think that's one of them. Michael is so butthurt. We haven't even watched his reaction yet, and I already know he's seething. His diaper is soaked. He's so mad that he's now being considered the weird ones. And guess what? Guess what, Michael? You are the weird one. You're the one who's pushing against American principles such as acceptance, tolerance, equality. You're the one who's pushing against that. You're the weird one, Michael. You're not normal. And according to your logic, that means that you're bad, immoral, and will very hopefully burn in hell.
For real families.
Ha 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 ha. They're going after Mickey Mouse for... Yeah, because Mickey Mouse isn't Mickey Mouse anymore. Just like Buzz Lightyear isn't Buzz Lightyear anymore.
How is Mickey Mouse... Wait. I'm not trying to be all like big brain, okay? But are you guys familiar with the formal laws of logic? because he just made a statement that completely contradicted a formal law of logic, which is the theory of, shit. I want to make sure I get it right. It's either the non-contradiction or the law of non-contradiction says nothing can both be and not be. In other words, two or more contradictory statements cannot both be true in the same sense at the same time. So you cannot say, look over there, it's a rock, but that rock is also not a rock. Something cannot be a rock and not a rock at the same time. This is what he's violating right here. He's saying, yeah, it's Mickey Mouse, but it's not Mickey Mouse. Make up your damn mind, dude. Coming from the Facts and Logic group, Daily Wire, I would have thought that you'd at least have a decent understanding of formal laws of logic and how to not violate them. What an idiot.
It isn't Mickey Mouse anymore. Just like Buzz Lightyear isn't Buzz Lightyear anymore. This is you might look like Mickey Mouse. He might have the sound of Mickey Mouse, but the things that Mickey is pushing are radical leftist propaganda.
So he's Mickey Mouse. So he's still Mickey Mouse then, right? Okay. Maybe now, can I violate a law of logic? This Michael Knowles guy is so stupid, he's like subhuman, but he's also human.
Men can really be women. Little kids should chop off their body parts. And take pure.
There's not even anything to say. First of all, the voice is atrocious, Michael. Stay in your lane, okay? You're going to lose some money from that one, okay? The oil billionaire is going to step in and be like, nah, give me back at least $100 because that accent, that voice was horrible, okay? You're losing some of my donos for that one. And second of all, like, I don't know how many times I need to explain that, like, kids are not having any body parts chopped off. That's just a bull-faced lie spread by the conservatards and their pesky anti-LGBT agenda.
Puberty blockers. Isn't that funny, Goofy? No, man, that's...
First of all, Michael, you are so unfunny, and it's weird because you can tell he's like chuckling at his own jokes. He thinks that he's funny, but he's not, which makes it even worse. Also, puberty blockers have been shown to be significantly beneficial for children struggling with gender dysphoria. So, okay.
You're like a weird demon Mickey. You're not the real Mickey. You're some bizarro world Mickey.
I mean, you sound like a demon, Michael. You just did the demonic Mickey voice. You can't claim that Mickey is a demon to roast him after you just did the demon Mickey voice. You're the demon here, buddy.
Has been hollowed out and had the essence of Mickey taken out of it. And so what the left banks on is people's now generational affection for the Disney characters, which have now been murdered and have been hollowed out, and the leftist virus has crawled inside and reanimated.
There's a joke to be made since he referenced murder, but I'm just going to not say that, okay? We respect TOS over here.
Its corpse, and it is just used to push radicalism. That's what Disney is under fire for. That's what Florida is pushing back against. Florida says, don't teach 5-year-olds weird sex stuff. Disney.
Do you think that gay people existing is a weird sex thing? And if it is, then maybe you need to, like, talk to somebody about it. You know, Michael, I feel like I have to say this now to quite a few conservatives. You realize that just if you get, like, a massive, uncontrollable boner at the sight of 2 cartoon characters who are drawn to be women kissing, that doesn't actually mean that everybody does?
Disney says, we're going to put all the weight of our gigantic multinational corporation behind a campaign to undermine the voters of Florida. And then Florida says, no, you're not. No, we're going to actually take away some of your tax incentives. We're going to fight back. We're not going to let you do that.
Wow.
And so the White House takes
so much for censorship.
Side of the big, woke, crazy multinational corporation trying to groom the kids. And it's not working. DeSantis is very popular in Florida. The politicians around the country who are taking the side of parents and opposing the woke corporations are winning. And this is great news for DeSantis, by the way. Ron DeSantis is one of the most talented young politicians I've ever seen. This guy somehow is at the center of every national news story.
Let's hear it. He's going to say, Ron DeSantis, man, he's the best right next to Putin. I mean, oh shit, cut that out.
And Joe Biden clearly sees him as a threat. That's why the sitting president of the United States, the incumbent who at least says that he's going to run for re-election, keeps going after DeSantis. I'm glad you like that clip. Now, hold on.
I don't like that clip at all. Now, unfortunately, there is another demagogue named Matt Walsh, who I like to call Matt Walshed Up, who also is weighed in. Apparently, he's taken a nice break from crying about women crying about the definition of women, to this time bitch about Lightyear. He's gone from crying about women to crying about an animated kids film. It's great. It's really, really wonderful. Matt, you say the left doesn't know what a woman is. Dude, a woman is women refers to the people that consistently reject you and run the other way when you step inside of a room.
All right, we start with actually some movie news from Deadline. There might be more important things happening in the country, but I just thought that this was here's some actual good news, something a little something that we can celebrate. And this is Deadline. This is obviously a left-wing rag, and this is how they report on this. They say, blame the fact that it doesn't appeal to girls, blame Disney Plus for stealing family moviegoers, blame the lack of an ensemble Toy Story cast. Heck, blame everything, as Disney Pixar's Lightyear didn't do its magic by internal studio or industry standards this weekend with $51 million, close to a third below its $70 million pre-release projection. It says this is an opening more in the vicinity of Pixar's original fare, so it could still leg out to $200 million. However, given how this IP was built on the back of the Toy Story brand, it's clear many were expecting significantly more. Lightyear overall was down in its global start, $85.6 million versus the top end $135 million estimate we reported.
Don't care. We already know. Get to the point.
Short of it is that this new Toy Story movie, this offshoot, Lightyear, which again this was a film about the backstory of the toy Buzz Lightyear in the world, in the Toy Story world.
All right. Let's get a round of applause, okay? Matt Walsh, I'm actually proud of you. I never thought I'd hear the words leave my mouth, but I'm proud of you, Matt, because at least Matt actually took time to research the movie and have like a very basic understanding of what the movie was about. Half of Michael Knoll's whiny rant was like crying because it didn't fit Toy Story. So, good job. Yay for Matt.
And it's doing incredibly poorly at the box office, way below projections. It's basically a box office dud. Now, for a lot of other movies, $51 million would not be anything close to a dud. But given that this is Toy Story, it's part of the franchise, it's Disney, all of the marketing.
It's not Toy Story. Why do you keep saying this?
And media and press that went into this, $51 million is pathetic. And if you look at some of the headlines in entertainment media today, a lot of the headlines like this in Deadline, they're all trying to figure out what the heck went wrong. How could this have happened? This is a Toy Story brand movie. They're supposed to do $100 million. What's going on? It's a mystery. Who could possibly explain this? Well, it's actually not a mystery at all. I think there are a couple of potential explanations here.
Keep in mind that I already have this on 1.25 speed, and it still feels so slow, so boring. Congratulations, Matt. You're so boring and slow, and I mean that in two different ways, that we're going to have to put it up to 1.5 speed. All right. Please, can you just get to the point? It's like asking your grandmother why she has that vase on the top shelf. You're like, you just want like a brief explanation, Well, I got it when I was younger. This is how I got it, and I really like it. Okay, cool. Instead, you get like, well, take a seat, honey. This is about to be a long story about that time I went to the flea market. It was a cool 70 degrees outside. I remember that morning I looked in my refrigerator for some cheese. I didn't see the cheese. I got sad. And it's just like this long-winded nonsense. That's like how I feel listening to Matt Walsh talk about anything. I see people saying there's problems with the video quality. You can turn the quality up. I just looked on YouTube, and it has the ability to go up to 1080.
Here, not potential, but absolute. One of them is, before we get to the political part of it, one of them is actually that I think there reaches a point where even the standard moviegoer, with his famously low standards, is just kind of sick and tired of the same old thing. Just the same thing over and over and over again. You're just trying to shovel the same garbage into his mouth over and over and over again.
We really should have done a bingo card, Shoving it down our throat, agenda, think of the children. Man, how many of these do we have nowadays? Yeah, guys, the brief kiss that you would literally miss if you blinked your eyes at the right time. That's shoving it down our throats. Wow. Again, Matt, you realize that it's not a bad thing if you want to shove things down your throat. You realize that's not a bad thing, right? Embrace who you are, my friend. But again, just if there was a brief lesbian kiss animated in a fucking kids movie doesn't mean that is shoveling it down our throat.
Making a franchise out of everything? Like the first Toy Story movie was just, it was a cute little movie about toys that come to life.
It's not a Toy
And that
Story
was, what,
movie.
20 years ago? And 20 years later, they're still making these same things over and over.
It's not a Toy Story movie.
So I think there's some exhaustion there on the part of the movie going public, as well there should be. But even more than that is the fact that this is the woke Toy Story. And that's how it was advertised. And that's what the press was saying. That's the media.
The woke Toy Story. It is just a movie at the end of the day, and it's really it's not worth getting mad about, you know? But yet here I am finding myself getting mad at the level of stupidity from this person. He's so dense. 1, it's not woke. 2, it's not a Toy Story movie. So congratulations, pal. Your statement has aged poorly in what? Approximately 8 seconds. Congratulations, Matt Walsh. Please get off the internet.
Attention it was getting, and people don't want that. Now, I haven't watched the movie. I'm not going to watch it. As far as I know, the only woke part of the film is that they put this lesbian kiss scene in there between two characters. I don't know if they're toys or not. Well, you know, these are real people in the Toy Story universe, so these are like real people.
I like how he started off with like, the moviegoers are just so sick of the same thing over and over again. That's literally your brand. If I took a shot for every time you chuckle fucks misused the word woke, I would be long dead in my grave from alcohol poisoning. Like, your brand is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Just find something that is mildly progressive and then spiel off about it and how much it offends you, and then call it woke. Oh yeah, and then make a fat paycheck from an oil billionaire. And then just do it again. Do it again. Do it again. It's not a Toy Story film. But man, yeah, we're so sick of the repetition. Meanwhile, Matt Walsh is just repeating his own talking points. The funny thing is Matt Walsh, you could probably take like just like chop up some things he said about virtually any movie that he's complaining is woke. And then it could apply to any future movie that the right is now considering woke. Just get a recording where you say, this movie was pretty bad, you know, it had some woke shit in it. Once again, this is just the fall of civilization, and I'm definitely not going to see this lame movie. Just record that, and then every time a new movie comes out, just post the same thing with a new title. Here's why Turning Red failed. Here's why Lightyear failed. Same clip. Like, you could actually do that because you people are such transparent NPCs.
But cartoons, okay. So they're not toys, but there's a lesbian kiss scene. And the media's made much ado about that. In a positive way, they're celebrating it. And we know that Disney, they put that lesbian kiss scene in because, or they put it back in. Originally they had it in the story. They took it out because they figured it didn't really help the story move along. They needed to cut it for time. They put it back in after the anti-grooming laws in Florida as a
Did they have to take it out for time?
political statement. And the movie going public wants nothing to do with that.
Hey, Big Daddy D, I see that you are currently in my waiting room. Could you let me know what you'd like to talk about, please?
Took it out because they figured it didn't really help the story move along. They needed to cut it for time. They put it back in after the anti-grooming laws in Florida as a political statement.
I like the anti-grooming laws, too. It's so funny, man. How many times have we heard the right wing cry about racism is losing its meaning? And now, like, hey, kids, did you know that there are also gay people that exist? This is grooming. Woke. Like, they're unironically leading to the demise of definitions for words like woke and groomer.
And the movie going public wants nothing to do with that. You know, lots of parents, they don't want to bring their kids to a cartoon movie where there's a lesbian kiss scene. And they also don't want entertainment that has a political or ideological message.
There's not a political ideological message, Matt. You just said it didn't have anything to do with the story and didn't push forward the story. You're contradicting yourself each fucking sentence. How can you say that they were going to cut it for time, you know, it wasn't really that important to the story, and now say parents don't want to see a movie that is all about the ideological, leftist, woke, propaganda, groomer, spooky? What? You just said it had nothing to do with the plot. There's no ideological spin here, dipshit.
They're just sick and tired of it. Now, on Hollywood's part, they can complain about that and say that, no, we should have an unending, insatiable appetite for this kind of thing. We should want this content in all of our movies. If we were truly virtuous people, well, I disagree with that, but even if it was true, it's too bad. People don't want it. They especially don't want it from their kids' entertainment. Okay, there's not a lot of
How do you know this? I like how he's, again, just making assertions. I really like that. People don't want this. Okay, what's your evidence? It's like the NPC meme, you know? People don't want this gay stuff. Really? How do you know that? Gets mad.
lot of parents out there who want to take their kids to a movie and then leave the movie, and that movie is now an opportunity to have a discussion about LGBT issues. There aren't very many parents who are looking for that from their entertainment.
That's not what it's about. Oh my God. This shows that he's the one who's ideologically motivated, or he actually believes that kids are like stupid dogs that you own until they turn 18. Like, do you think that if a little Johnny sees the lesbian kiss and then on the way home asks Mom, why did it look like there were two girls that kissed? And then the mom says, oh, well, that part was actually just showing how not all families have a mommy and a daddy. Some families have a mommy and a mommy. And leave it at that? Is that like, do you really have such little faith in children's abilities to understand like certain issues that you think that would just like mind fuck them? Their brain would just explode, start seeping out of their ears. What? If they haven't been introduced to bigotry, then they're probably not going to think twice about it, Matt.
So that's why it didn't do well. Which is why I would say to Hollywood, continue doing this all you want, because it's just total self-destruction. You're making yourself more and more irrelevant. As I've said before, I think that you can find kind of a parallel. This is sort of the bizarro world version of what Christian entertainment has done for so long. Okay, the difference is that with so-called Christian movies, like Christian branded entertainment, they put, just like woke Hollywood does now, they put the message before anything. The message is the most important thing. The difference is that with Christian entertainment, the message is actually good, so that's the good part.
You see, it's fine to have an ideologically motivated film. It's not fine when the ideology is something that I, in fact, do not agree with. I am very smart. I am big-brained.
But story comes second, plot, writing, acting, all these things are just afterthoughts. The actual entertainment quality of the thing itself is an afterthought. And the idea among the people in the Christian entertainment industry is that as long as the message is there, then sort of we've done our job.
This isn't even analogous, because there was nothing to do with the Lightyear plot that had anything involving lesbian kisses. Literally nothing. You already said that, Matt. I don't understand. I honestly, I can't. I'm starting to think that Matt Walsh might not even be real. I think he might be like an AI-generated half ape, half human apparition that appears every so often to just like drive me up a wall.
You haven't really. Because what you should be trying to do is create great entertainment that also has the positive message, which maybe means the message can be a little bit more subtle. Woke Hollywood's doing the same thing. Taking the message, only this time it's a bad message, but the mistake they're making strategically is they make the message front and center. They especially did this with this.
You just said it wasn't front and center. You said they were going to cut it for time, and that had nothing to do with the story. Okay.
Lightyear movie. That's all of the discussion about the Lightyear movie. It was all about the lesbian kissing. Nothing to do with the story.
Wait, you're the one making the movie, complaining about the lesbian kiss. How are you doing the thing while complaining about the thing that you are doing? Self-awareness, 0. What the fuck? Guys, you know what I really can't stand? Political commentators who share their opinion on YouTube and Twitch. Man, people that get up on Twitch and YouTube and talk about their political opinions, I hate those people. All right, just stop. What is your deal, okay? God, it's annoying. So anyway, our next political topic here on Twitch and YouTube, that is the equivalent of what Matt Walshed up is doing right here, right now.
The price for it. Meanwhile, and of course, they're not learning a lesson. So Star Wars, we know that the Star Wars franchise in general has gone woke, has arguably been woke from the beginning, you might even say. But their Twitter account in particular.
Woke from the beginning? What does that mean? Was it woke for them to have like a woman or a black person in the film? Is that the woke right there, Matt? I like how he's just like, they were arguably woke from the beginning, refuses to elaborate. What does that mean?
Is very woke. So they were responding over the weekend to some random Twitter user who said to them, don't make Star Wars political. And then the Star Wars account responded and said, number one, queer characters existing isn't political.
True.
Number two, Star Wars is literally in our name.
That's a good tweet. And yeah, it's true that queer characters existing isn't political. I love that. That is so true. Now let's go ahead and watch how Matt Walsh is going to seethe about this.
Is literally in our name. Not exactly sure what they're going for with point 2. But number 1, they say queer characters existing isn't political. Well, it is, though, and you've decided that. So you use the quote-unquote queer characters to make political points. That's exactly what...
Wait, we wouldn't have to represent queer people if queer people were already, 1, equally represented, and 2, equally treated in society. Treated equally among society. Okay, we're back to another self-fulfilling prophecy here. You see, Matt Walsh, he's mad because queer people existing is apparently political, but he's the one constantly bitching and moaning about queer people existing. You realize that when you and your buddies are up here raving against the degenerate gays and are trying to push forward legislation that prohibits gay people from adopting or trans people from seeking life-saving medical care, then now you're the one who's made it political. You realize that, right? Like, if gay and trans people were just simply accepted and nobody batted an eye, we probably wouldn't have to have like some big political thing. You're the one making this political. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Disney did with the Lightyear film. So no, that's exactly the case. You use these characters to make political statements. That was your decision, not ours.
Nothing was political. There was no political statement made. That's the point. It was 2 lesbians kissing for 5 fucking milliseconds, and you're the one up here for 8 minutes, 50 seconds, whining and crying like your wife left you for a second time, acting as if the whole world is falling down. I'm sorry, Matt. You are so weak, dude. I can feel the hard times approaching, okay? I would hate to look at Matt Walsh's internet search history. It's probably just like hot lesbian porn and then like, I don't know, groomer roleplay, furry. I was something like that. I don't fucking know. Fuck you, Matt Walsh. Fuck you, Michael Knowles. And fuck all the other sensitive little cunts who literally can't stand seeing the fact that gay people exist, who literally can't help themselves but to melt down into a pile of piss whenever a gay person is depicted existing for less than a single minute. Pixar has done it again. Once again, Pixar has successfully triggered all of the right people, and that makes me very happy. Stay mad, Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.